What is happening, guys? Well, the time is here. It's time to review this new Metallica record, Hardwired to Self Destruct. Take some time off from work. I've listened to this album. I've listened to this album a couple times, and now I know the more I listen to it, some things and opinions on stuff that right here might change. But this right here is what I'm gathering out of it so far. I've taken some notes here and everything, but you know, all I can say is like this album. It seems like it's the best album that we've received since 1991, since the Black Album, and this looks like it would be like the perfect bridge between that album and Load, because, you know, you remember how much of a stark contrast there was, you know, after we got the Black Album 91, that thick, heavy, just groovy Metallica record, and then we buy Load and we get kicked off with, what was the first song on that record? Anyway, but we got kicked off with that, and it's such a stark contrast, and we were all just kind of taken aback. Now, I'm a fanboy, so Metallica can almost do no wrong for me. I've grown to love Load and Reload and Saint Anger, and I really like Death Magnetic. Death Magnetic seemed like it was a good progression in the right direction. But Metallica showed us that Death Magnetic wasn't going to be the new return to the old Metallica, that it was just progression towards the right direction. This seems like where Metallica should be in the progression of things throughout their career. The way I look at it, it's kind of like Justice and the Black Album and Load meshed together and formed something new, and that's what we have here with Hardwired to Self Destruct. The guitars sound the best they have since the Black Album. James's vocals sound the best he's sounded since the Black Album. Lars's drums sound the best they have since the Black Album. I mean, it's almost I can only bring up the Black Album, but that Black Album was so just produced and mixed and just sounded so great, and we haven't had that until now. I mean, the tracks are all long, you know, with the exception of the opening track, but all of them are 5+ minutes, with some over 7 minutes, which kind of gave them the ability to do some things with these songs that they haven't been able to do in a long while, and the things that we all fell in love with Metallica for. We got lots of transitions to almost different styles within the song, tempo changes, and just an all-around gargantuan level of badassery. So anyway, guys, there's 2 discs. Well, there's actually 3 discs in the special edition, and the 3rd disc contains like a Lords of Summer and a few other tracks that are like live in studio recordings, as well as some live tracks from concerts. But for now, we're just going to take care of the 2 studio discs. Each one of them has 6 tracks. So let's get into this track-by-track breakdown and my thoughts on Hardwired to Self Destruct. Alright, the opening track on disc 1 is Hardwired. Like I said before, this one's a short song, a little over 3 minutes. It's to the point, and it's kind of like a prologue to a book. You know, you get a page or two, you know, before you get into the meat of the story, and that's what I see here. It's like the prologue to a book, the book of metal. Anyway, but some things about this song, I'm not sure about the expletives. Now, I know that Metallica's no newbie to expletives, but this level of usage still kind of feels off to me, but you know, it is what it is. But you know, this is a really fast thrashy, and what a way to announce, you know, so to speak, that Metallica is back, than with some thrash from what we've known them for over the years. All right, track number 2. Atlas Rise. Now, this one is another one of the ones like Hardwired that we got to hear early. We got Atlas Rise just about 3 weeks ago, maybe, at the very end of October. And it's kind of in the same vein as the one that we got the month before, Moth into the Flames. The guitar harmonies in this song are very reminiscent to old Metallica, especially the guitar harmonies that we got on Justice. This song has a lot of those same kind of elements within there. And of course, because of that, you really get the sense that these guys were heavily influenced by bands like Iron Maiden. It's got a great groove to it, and the bridge between the second chorus and the solo is just one of those ones, as soon as it starts, You get that head banging. So that's what I think about Atlas Rise. Now, track number 3, it's called Now That We're Dead. Now, this was the first song that I heard as I was listening to there that I had not heard before. So first things, this might be the heaviest, front to back, the heaviest song on the record. The intro riff, it's just a headbanging groove, and it gets you to put that metal face on, that metal face. And it's really, we thought with Atlas Rise and Moth into Flames that we were going to get, this is indicative of what the album is going to be, and it was to an extent, but this song is just heavy. The drums, are really are a familiar mixture of some of the drums that we heard from Lars back in Justice days, in the Black Album days, but there's something new. There's this groovy tom work that he's doing in there that we haven't heard him do really ever. I mean, he's had some tom work, but the tom work in this is thunderous. It's just really, really good. Now, it might change the more I listen to it. But for now, this song's probably my favorite song on the album so far. Alright, track number 4. I can't say much about this. This is Moth into Flame. We heard this one back in September. It was the second song of the early releases. And unlike Hardwired, this one seemed to give us a checklist of what to expect from the album. The guitar harmonies, the pounding drums, and just catchy and real rememberable riffs. Perfect tempo changes, smoking leads and solos. James's lyrics, his singing, everything is on point in this song. And really, it's some of the best Metallica performance we've heard in a couple decades at least. Let's see, what else do I have about this song? The solo. Now, whenever the video came out for this and he introduces the song, the solo is what got me. It's long. Kirk's just on fire with it. Keeps going and going. Some of my notes here, just lightning fast shreds. A great mixed with great melody, and then that whammy bar vibration at the end. And whenever I hear that, even when I see it in the video, I just get this ear to ear grin every single time. Let's see. All right, track number 5, another new track. This one's called Dream No More. This one kind of starts off with a guitar riff and then that rolling hi-hat cymbal move that Lars is pretty famous for nowadays. But for some reason, the vocals in this one, if you remember that song Fixer, I want to say it was like track number 10 or 11, maybe later from Reload. His vocals, the vocal tracks in this remind me a lot of that song. It's very slow, very bluesy groove that, it's just real groovy. It kind of gets you, it makes you want to smile and just fling your head around until you get whiplash. Anyway, track number 6, Halo on Fire. Now, based on the track name alone, this was the song, whenever I saw track listing, that I thought was just going to be my favorite track. And it might very well be, but that remains to be seen. As of right now, Now That We're Dead still has that honor, I think. But this one comes close. The song starts out with the thickest, just the meatiest, thickest riff that we have on the album. Ton of harmonizing guitar. But then it slows down. It slows down to a more, melodic, area in the verses, but then kicks back in with that really thick riff once you get back to the choruses. And James's vocals in this song just shine. If you want to say a standout track for vocals, this one's it. And he's doing some things with his vocals that I'm not sure that we've heard before, and I can't really explain what it is. You'd have to hear it for yourself. But it really pays dividends to the song and adds something to it, and it's just like I said, it's the vocal standout of this album. Following the solo is a bass section which is really heavy and thick. Rob's sound is really good in here, and it really makes you miss Cliff. But the sound is so thick that if you're listening on decent headphones or got a really kick-ass stereo, the sound is going to be so thick it's going to probably want to make your eyes start in water. Kirk's solo. Hey, just like James's vocals doing something a little different here, Kirk does some things in a solo that I'm not necessarily we've heard from him before, and it's another thing that just pays dividends to the song, and it makes the song just stand out all on its own. All right, track number 7. It's called Confusion. Now, I say track number 7. This is actually track number 1 on disc 2. We get the first look, or listen, you know, however you want to put it, the slower, rhythmic, galloping groove that Metallica's been known for. You know, where they use a lot of heavy triplets in the rhythm guitars. Kind of reminds me of the same kind of tempo of Wolf and Man from the Black Album. But this song's kind of got that same kind of groove to it, and I really think that this song, if you know, prior to James blowing out his voice back in '91, if this song would have been mixed and stuff then, this song would have been a good fit for the Black Album, in my opinion. The drums on the intro and the outro are very military, very percussive, if that makes any sense. Kind of like the drums in One, which leads to the overall, I guess, the overall message in this one, and it shows in the music video for this song as well, since it was take place on a military battlefield, so to speak. Eighth track, Man Unkind. This one now starts out with a bass only, another one that really makes you nostalgic for Cliff. But, you know, like I said before, like I'll always say, Rob's a good man, and Jason was, to fill in those shoes. After the bass intro, the song comes in with just a doozy of just haymaker, just down picks, those heavy-handed down picks that, you know, Hetfield is really famous for. And this one really made me picture this song as being a really great live song. This is those one that's going to bring on the hey, and the fist pounding, metal pounding, the chants in the crowd, and I just can't wait to see this live whenever they go on tour, and if they come anywhere close to here, I'm there. But this one has one of those odd tempos, and we have seen these from Metallica before, and the thing that pops out to me is, if you guys remember from the Some Kind of Monster documentary, there was that section in there where Lars was kind of doing this weird trying to lay down some kind of weird syncopated drum track, and it just wasn't working. He kind of does that same thing in this, but it works. They made the whole song work around that really odd tempoed and odd time signature piece, and it really, really, really works. And then, you know, getting into Kirk's solo, it's just one of those ones that's going to melt and peel your face right off of it from beginning to end. Track number 9. It's called Here Comes Revenge. Now this is the other one that rivals as my favorite track. So, you know, I guess you could say it's a 3-way tie to my favorite track, and probably the 2-way tie to the standout tracks. I mean, this song is just straight metal, pure and simple, and I don't know, the more I think about it, scratch what I've said before, this is what I'm talking about it changing. This is my favorite track. This has got that, you know, that fast, the heaviest 16th note, the riffing that we've seen from Metallica in a long time. And I really think that this song probably should be the next radio release. Whenever they release another single off this album, I want to hear this one on the radio. 10th track, Am I Savage? So you kind of get fooled at first because it starts off real slow and you think they're bringing one of those Metallica style ballads, but about 20-25 seconds in, the riff starts. The heavy riff starts. It's very rhythmic centric. As you can tell that this is a very rhythm based song. And we all know that metal is very much rooted in the blues, and you can definitely feel that here. And really, the things that stand out to this is the bridge before the solo is probably the definite, and you get this towards the end of the track as well, but it's definitely the heaviest 10 seconds or so on the entire album. Just a brutal, heavy down pick that just knocks you down to stumps on your guts. Alright, track number 11, called Murder One. Now this one tries to fool you again that it's kind of a ballad song, but it's definitely not the case. It kicks into a more faster pace, but the cool thing, this song is a tribute to Lemmy Kilmister, frontman for Motorhead, which Metallica has touted over the years as being one of their biggest influences since day one. And I mean, I can't say enough about this song, but really the music video is what stands out to me. It's one of the coolest videos I've seen in recent years. And I would say back in the days of Headbangers Ball, this would have been a staple video. I mean, it's got Metallica singing about Lemmy's life in an animated, like, biopic style video. I mean, what more could you ask for? All right, the final studio track called Spit Out the Bone. It's time to close this record the most perfect way, the same way that it opened, with a long, heavy, epic, thrashy epilogue of just massive proportions. This song pays tributes to all their influences, so you're gonna hear influences from Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Motorhead, you know, all the King Diamond, all these bands that they grew up listening to, and they heavily influenced him. You hear it in this song. So, I mean, this song is almost to say, you know, Metallica fans, I'm sorry, we seem to have disappeared over the years, but we're here now, and we're never going anywhere ever again. So, guys, that's my track by track. That's my track by track down. Had a brain fart. That's my track by track breakdown of what I think about the album so far. Just a few other notes on here. Some closing out notes. I really think this is the album that we've wanted for 2 decades. I like the overall theme to it. You know, a lot of bands put out records when there's an overall theme to the entire thing, and I think their overall theme, at least from what I take from it, is that we all have all these negative things inside of us: revenge, savagery, pride, selfishness, and it makes us all hardwired. I mean, we're hardwired to self-destruct and bring ourselves down. But that Lemmy song, especially towards the end, tells us that we don't have to self-destruct. And as much as Lemmy embodied all those negative aspects in himself, he never let it get him down. And he's just stayed true to what it was, and his career and his legacy on the metal world and the music world in general is just proof of it. If there's one thing Metallica's always been great at, it's making the listener look into themselves and seeing what's there, what we hide from ourselves, what we display to others, what we hide from others, what we want from ourselves, what we like about ourselves, what we hate about ourselves. And it's all in this metal-filled disguise that's all their own. So, you know, many have come, many have gone, and many still have yet to be, but there's only one almighty Metallica. So guys, that's been my review. I know it's been a long one, but Metallica is worthy of every minute spent talking about this record. Hopefully this just means that the next record, hopefully it won't be another 8 years before we get another one, and the next one can be just even better. Metallica's back, guys. I'm going to close this out, get back to work. Catch you guys in that next video, in that next review, whether it be a movie, music, album, reaction, whatever it is. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.